Hey, and welcome to Tim's Tidbits. And it is Smooth Tim and Larry E. What's up, Larry?
Chilling, man. Trying to stay out the heat.
You ain't chilling down in Texas. Stop lying. Already
Turning up,
lying.
chilling.
Already lying to the viewers. It's hotter than hell
Folks,
down there. What is it? 105, 107 in Texas?
it's 105 in the shade. So imagine aftershade.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, we've been having good weather up north. A little bit of rain, but I'll take that. That's one thing I don't miss about Texas is the heat.
Oh man, this is hot.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. See, what the hell are we going to talk about tonight? Tidbit topics. Boom, man. Oh, Arizona and their new legislations. And what is the definition of a person? That could be interesting.
Mm.
And State Representative Krystle Walker and her phone call. So we'll get into all these subjects, but hey, let's start out with Arizona. It just seems that apparently somebody can't have Florida being number one and doing the stupid things around the country. Some of them aren't stupid. Some aren't stupid. But anyhow, obviously, in Arizona, what they've done is just like every place else around the country, we're having a problem fulfilling our education system, right?
Right.
So, I mean, early retirement or COVID or whatever the reason may be for these educators to drop out of the system. Anyhow, Arizona is introducing some legislation. Let's take a look about this and then come back at it.
Standards for who is allowed to teach in our public schools are dropping in Arizona. Under a new rule, you only need to be enrolled in college to begin teaching in a classroom.
So this is a big change, and it's being met with mixed reaction. Amy Cutler is here to explain more on this. Amy.
Yeah, even two teachers that I spoke with had mixed opinions about this, one for it, one against it. So it does open the door for a college freshman getting the chance to teach in front of a classroom. The governor argues it gives public schools more flexibility. The Arizona Educators Association, though, calls it a slap in the face. But this change, SB 1159, which allows people enrolled in college to teach while they pursue a degree, Larson says that's a stretch.
So the situation will be even worse if you're dealing with either younger people or even less well-educated people.
I think it could work. Obviously, there's not a one-size-fits-all plan.
Christopher Ramsey also benefited from a teacher shortage years back.
I'm a teacher, and I taught for 2 years while doing a celebrated master's program. So I actually did not have my teaching degree.
He says if you have the right person, it could work. The Arizona Educators Association fought this legislation.
You have to have some experience. It's going to allow people to do on-the-job training, and that's where it's scary.
In response, a spokesperson for the governor writes this flexibility will help strengthen the teacher talent pipeline, provide the opportunity for more Arizonans to become teachers, and allow for locally driven solutions.
Bam, what do you think, Larry? Think they're on the right track with that idea?
Yeah, you know what? They say it's going to be on-the-job training. Life is on-the-job training.
Oh, absolutely.
Having kids are on-the-job training. Being married, on-the-job training. Starting a new job. You can only learn, I forgot how the saying goes there, but you're going to learn 30% of what you're going to know about your job in college. And everything else is going to be
On the
on-the-job
job training.
training. Yeah, so
I would sit there and think when I went through college and ended up with my degree, probably, yeah, maybe 20 to 30% of it was applicable to my actual career. And other than that, it was on the job training and learn as you go.
yeah, I have a degree in several areas, and I got some degree in like trades, and I have some like traditional like bachelor's and all that. But everything I learned with my trades, most of the stuff you do are on the job training. Everything you learn. If you take a test, for let's go trades for example, automotive, welding, and HVAC.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a test to get a contractor's license, none of that stuff is 20% is what you learn in college. Because I took a test on those, and I didn't do well. I learned, I was kind of sharp, so I got 50 out of 100. And I'm like, well, how come I didn't do so well? I just finished college. They said, well, you ain't gonna learn it. You got to learn that stuff on the job. You can't learn it in college.
Those
And
are
it's
those are
same thing
life
with,
skills that you're gonna learn,
yeah,
right?
same thing with automotive. You can't be a master mechanic by going to college. You got to be a master mechanic by learning the stuff on the job, ASC certified. So on the job training is what it takes. That's where you get the real experience.
I can understand where they're coming from in some degree, and that would be to, I don't think that you should put an inexperienced individual into a higher educational, let's say into like a junior high school setting. I think you should
I
be a little
understand
bit
that.
more of a seasoned veteran. However,
I
in
understand.
primary school, I would sit there and think, yeah, that could be acceptable because obviously this person, if they're going to college, has to have a high school diploma and or equivalency,
Yeah.
right? So they're not stupid.
Kindergarten through grade 5 makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You should not have anybody that's still going to college and experience, somebody that's very young,
I agree.
dealing with those kids that at such a mature level, because the maturity level is not too far from what the teacher is if they're still going to college. So
Yeah, if you think about it,
yeah, but
you're
think
right.
about every teacher that gets out of college and becomes a teacher. They wasn't teaching in college. They came out of college and became a teacher. So they were still on the job training. So it doesn't really matter. But
I
it's
think
just
they
that,
have
like
a
you
little
said,
bit. I mean, they still got to do their practicum, right? Where they actually go into
yeah,
the
you can
school.
be a substitute teacher. You can just sub. You can just be a substitute teacher while you go to college. You know, either way it goes, you can still sub as a teacher. What's the difference between a substitute teacher without a degree and then the teacher that's going to college without a degree that's not subbing? It's the same thing.
So I
So
guess
what's
you
the
could look at it in a couple of different ways. It's very progressive of Arizona to think that way, and try to fulfill some needs in their society. However, yeah, I think as we just discussed, you got to have some parameters on how you're going to do this.
You got to tweak it. Just make sure you don't put don't let the very inexperienced people, young people, get up to those high schoolers and junior high schoolers, because we've seen experienced people fall victim to certain things, whether it's violence or acts of sex or whatever. You don't want them to get involved in that.
I think back. Do you ever think? I think back to school sometimes, and you may have had the teacher that your mom and dad had too. All joking aside, but I mean, there were educators like that, and it seemed to me that sometimes I think I learned the most from them, although I couldn't stand them the most because they were so they were so strict, and they had a way that they were going to educate you. You may not like it, but it's been working for 30 years, and that's what I mean. Somebody with experience.
That's old school, yeah. Well, my daughter has a teacher now. She's real cool. She's like 20 something, and my daughter's 10, and she's totally different she's more of their friend.
Yeah, but at 10 years old, 20 years old is an adult.
Yeah, so but my daughter's in like the 4th grade, so I can see that. That's what you want to do. I can see that now. Brand new young teachers, give them the booger babies.
There
give
you
them
go.
the booger babies.
Make or break you. We're gonna make or break you if you can handle.
You know what I'm saying? Give them the booger baby, the booger eating, snot tasting, giving them the thing. Let them practice with them. Because that's child's play. Literally, those kids are child's play. So I think that you should, if they got a clean background, and they're intelligent enough to go through an interview process, let them try. What's the worst that can happen?
It's funny that you said Little League, because if you think about it, that's the same way. A lot of times when you're into the T-ball or whatever they may call it, it's a lot of parents coaching. But once you progress into, a Pee-wee, junior, and senior leagues, now you have actual coaches, experienced coaches doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's all the same across the board. It's all the same. They're basically giving people more opportunities to be teachers because they need them, and they putting out work. They're just letting them. It's on the job training. It's always. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm 49 right now. I'm still on the job training. I'm still learning. Still.
Every day. I learn every day, and that's because you got to keep up with all the new equipment that's available with you, the new technology, the new methods to get something done. And if
these
you don't
new people
keep up
that we got to
it,
deal with, we got new people we got to deal with. Everything is new, so you're always going to be learning and training. There's no teacher in the world that can say that they know everything. I know how to teach. I've been doing it for 40 years. Okay, you got some new people. new kids, new generation. So you got to learn from them. You got to up your stuff up. So I just, yeah. So I agree with it. I support it. I would vote for it.
Probably. Let's see what the hell else they're doing down in or up in Arizona. Down in Arizona to me. They came up with also a new law. Let's check this out. Come back. Let's talk about this a second.
Governor Ducey's signing a bill today that makes it illegal to record law enforcement within 8 feet. The law makes it a misdemeanor if someone keeps recording after getting a verbal warning to stop. There are some exceptions, including if the person recording is the one being questioned by police. That's okay. Supporters say it's meant to protect law enforcement from harm or distraction and not heighten situations that are unfolding out in the field. Critics say it's unconstitutional and does nothing to enhance transparency.
Opinion.
I agree.
I agree 100% with that law.
8 feet is enough distance, and plus you got to zoom on your phone.
What can't you record from 8 feet away? And
zoom in, dude. You know what I'm saying? Zoom in. And plus, you don't want anybody, like they say, distractions and heighten the situation. It's totally accurate, man. That happens.
Everything he said was
whether a white cop's on a white dude or a black dude, whatever. It doesn't matter what race it is. You don't want them that close to you heightening it. If you want to record it, step back 8 feet, zoom that camera in. You can still record.
I agree 100%. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, one of the assailant or the person, the purple, whatever, one of they are wrong. They are guilty, and they get the cop's gun to do something.
And what if they grab a weapon? What happens if the cop stumbles backwards and falls into you? Now, I mean, anything could happen.
What if the person that's filming becomes a hostage in a bad situation?
There you are. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic law. 8 feet is plenty close enough, and I'm trying to figure out where these people are coming from. When they mention that it's a violation of their constitutional right?
No, that's safety.
I'm like, how does that fall into that? I mean, they're still allowing you to record. They're not saying you can't record anything or you're going to jail. They didn't say that. They're saying, but for our safety and your safety, stay back 8 feet. We'll give you a warning.
Well, people always got something to say about everything, including us. But at the end of the day, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
I have no opinions, Larry. How dare you?
Yeah, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, 8 feet is adequate. They just said you can't record no closer than 8 feet. That's okay. And 8 feet is not a lot. That is not a lot.
Well, you've been in the security business, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that when you're trying to get a person, a suspect, whatever you may want to call them, under control, that's unreasonable for you to have that kind of room to be able to maneuver in and get him into a position safely so nobody gets hurt?
I think it should be more than 8 feet because I've been in situations where I had to handle somebody and the people didn't know the situation, and I had a whole crowd of people around me. So I was about to start knocking out everybody, including the person I had. So I ended up releasing the person I had, and everything, the crowd dissipated or whatever. So, but I think 8 feet is, if you record on your camera, every camera has a zoom in. Just keep the distance, zoom in, and record it.
I think it's a really good law. There's times when you look at some of the not progressive state. They're more, I don't know what to call Arizona anymore. But anyhow, they still have problems with the election. But beyond that, these two laws seem to be perfect.
Yeah, I agree with both everything they're saying. 8 feet, the teachers teach. Let's do it. Let's try it.
There's always some laws that somebody has to either invoke and or test, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened here, I think, is going to put a real interesting twist into a woman's constitutional rights. Check this out.
HOV lanes are supposed to be for cars with 2 or more people.
Yeah, I can see the signs. It says HOV parentheses 2.
When Brandy Batone was driving down Central Expressway, she came across a sheriff's checkpoint targeting drivers breaking the rules.
He starts peeking around. He's like, "Is it just you?" And I said, no, there's 2 of us. And he's like, well, where's the other person? And I went, right here.
Batone is 34 weeks pregnant, but the officer told her that doesn't count.
And I said, well, not trying to throw a political mix here, but with everything going on, this counts as a baby. And he kind of just waved me off.
Batone got a $275 ticket.
Different judges might treat this differently. This is uncharted territory we're in now.
Legal experts say it's an interesting discussion, especially in light of the recent Supreme Court ruling on abortion rights. But Dallas appellate lawyer Chad Ruback says there's no clear answer.
Because there is no Texas statute that says what to do in this situation. The Texas Transportation Code has not been amended recently to address this particular situation. Who knows? The legislature might do so in the next session.
I really don't feel like it's right, because one law is saying it one way, but then another law is saying it another way.
A new twist on an old question: how to define a person. Scott Gordon.
Interesting situation, isn't it?
That dude just being petty.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think she has a very valid point, and I'm glad that it happened. Because,
how many weeks is 36 weeks?
I mean,
how many months is that?
6 weeks, a month and a half. I
So
mean, 6 weeks.
36 weeks.
Oh, she's at 36 weeks, so she's at 4 months pregnant. Right. 36 weeks. That's a whole entire pregnancy. Anyhow, why are you doing this math shit with me? What I was trying to get to the point was Texas has a law that says 6 weeks after conception, it's considered a human, and abortion is illegal. And they have the snitch law too, right? If you snitch on your neighbor for getting an abortion, you get $1,000 reward, that kind of stuff.
Real?
Yeah, read your Texas law.
Is to go find something? I need $1,000.
But here's the point: how can you sit there and define in one law after 6 weeks that fetus in your body is considered human, and any act against that human is going to be considered manslaughter, murder, whatever? You're going to go to prison, and whoever helped you is going to get all kinds of fines. But it's not considered in, any other type of law. So when do I have a human being in me? When are you going to sit there and define, I'm 6 weeks pregnant. That's way past what the Texas law says. Now, is this a human being in the car with me, or isn't it? Make up your mind.
Yeah. Have you ever had a human being? You said when you have a human being in you, or the lady?
The lady.
Okay, I thought it said you. I'm
no,
like,
she's saying there's a human being in my stomach, according to the statutes of Texas.
Yeah,
but now, because of the driving situation, it's not a human being. So which is it?
Both of them being petty. I think
it's I think it may be petty, but she's got a point.
She does have a point, and then he does have a point, but they need to leave it alone. I'm like, okay, if she's pregnant, and think about her being pregnant, and maybe something could happen. Maybe 36 weeks is if somebody gives the answer to that, maybe that's like 8 months. Maybe she's having complications and she had to get to the hospital. Nobody can take her. She has to be in HOV lane.
Yep. That could be.
That would make sense.
But it's going to get pushed. Look what happened in Ohio. And that was where the 10-year-old girl was raped.
Mm-hmm.
She was Hispanic. The perpetrator was Hispanic. He said, yeah, he did it. And she ended up having to go to Indiana because of Ohio laws, making abortion completely illegal. They don't care if it's through rape, incest, or what. It's from conception, it's a baby. So she had to go to Indiana. A 10-year-old rape victim had to go to Indiana to get an abortion. Are you telling me?
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that, man.
So, that's the point. I sit there and think, is when do you make all these definitions on a woman? Control. It basically is like you're controlling women with the laws.
Why are you controlling women?
Well, think about this. Think about this. if you're a victim of rape and under incest and you get pregnant, no, you can't abort that baby because it's illegal and it's considered manslaughter, and you'll go to prison.
But see, when they did the law and wrote the law, when it was originally done to help women, it made sense because it protected them against stuff like that, incest and rape. Now, why are they changing it?
Because they put it back to the states. That was what the Supreme Court did when they overturned Roe v. Wade. They put it back to the states. Now the states can decide what the parameters. And you've got states
why would the state not support a woman in a situation when she was forcefully impregnated?
How the hell do I know, Larry? You ask the stupid ass people that are passing these laws. There should be sections like that. I understand that, beyond a certain point, I'm 6 months pregnant and I'm thinking about having an abortion. Now that's just disgusting because that baby's been moving in you. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Now,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. But I mean, when you're a victim of rape or incest, or let's say you're a single mother and it was just an accident, and there's no way you can handle it economically or anything else, you should be able to make that choice yourself. But there should be a cutoff date. I agree. But I think, when you sit there and talk 6 weeks at it, most women don't even know they're pregnant that quick.
I don't see how you can, man, that's the type of control that you're just trying to just flex your muscles on, man.
That's what upsets me is the way they're trying to control a woman's body.
I'm like, why?
What's next?
Like,
also,
next thing you know, they're going to try to control man masturbating or something. Like, look, Larry.
They're talking about, banning contraceptives. So what? A woman, and there was something on the news the other day. A woman got all kinds of flack for trying to go up and trying to buy her her pills.
What about sperm banks? Are they banning sperm banks?
I have no idea how crazy it's going to get. All I can say is, what's next? Also tied up into that, along with that Roe v. Wade, has to do with, even like interracial marriage.
So they're going to ban that too?
And they could throw it back to the states, and you get down to a state like, some of them that we know.
Oh, I tell you, this country is backwards. They worried about stuff that doesn't even pertain to them. A woman having to make a decision about her own body because of something that was negatively forced on her is her own right. That's the whole right of being alive, having the right to make decisions. That's her right.
I agree 100%.
A lot of women abuse it. Some women abuse it. We know they do. It's got some hoes out there.
Every system does.
There's some hoes out there. But at the end of the day, when it falls under those circumstances, the woman has more than a right to say, I'm going to have an abortion. Under those circumstances. And it should be circumstances that are written and that every state have to follow, because those circumstances state that I was forcefully impregnated and it's not right. And we live by rights in America. We live by rights in our lifetime. It's about rights and wrongs. And the leaders are supposed to protect our rights from the people that are doing the wrongs. But it seems like now the leaders are saying, you know what? Even if they did something wrong, we still gonna support them.
That's what I don't quite understand, Larry, is even in that entire discussion, and you hear it, and you talk to a majority of Americans, I think, 60% or more of Americans would have to sit there and say, abortion should be the decision of the woman involved or the two individuals involved.
Yeah, and think about it, like,
and how they made that, I got no idea how that got all passed. Yeah. I mean,
but Tim too, though, a lot of those fools that are making those laws, they're not in that situation. Their families have not been in a situation. Not one of them will go up there and say that, yeah, my daughter was raped and I told her to have a baby anyway. I guarantee a senator or a House of Representatives that passed that law or voted in would not say that. Any kind of state elective official would not sit there and say that my daughter was raped, I'm going to make her have an abortion. I'm told she's still going to have a baby. They're not going to do that.
Some of them would never have, you're right. Some of them would never have a clue. My daughter lives in one of the project buildings. She's Section 8. lives on stamps, already got 2 kids, and now she's pregnant again, needs to have an abortion. I mean, there's no way she can take care of this, try to maintain a part-time job or whatever. And she's already a strain on the system, and you're just telling her, no, it can't be done.
Yep. And then what you do, you're raising, bringing another adult, young kid that's going to come up with not having the best of life and end up being on the wrong side of the train tracks.
Or bitching because they're taken from the system. Well, you're the one that said they had to because you wouldn't let mama take care of business.
Tim.
I know.
These are people have voted into office.
Speaking of idiots that we vote into office. Check this out.
In the profanity-filled call, which lasted nearly 40 minutes, it was placed by Matthews to Perry Correction Institute inmate David Solomon Ballard back on February 15th. In the call, Representative Matthews says Democrats need to run as undercover Republicans to take and divert votes. She says people need to go out at night and take down opposing political signs. Representative Matthews goes on to say she doesn't understand why someone her age can't win in an important office in South Carolina and doesn't care where the money to support political campaigns comes from, even if it's what she calls dope money, as long as it's being used to fund campaigns like hers.
I'm a single mother of 5 out here doing more than most do in a day. And I still got to struggle to raise money for my campaign. Is my black people with money. I don't care about no dope money. Give me that dope boy money. Where the duffel bag boys? Find you somebody in your family that don't even know you donating to my campaign and put that shit under their name.
Hey. I got you.
Like, wait, what the
That's all I could say too when I listen to this. I'm like, you know,
he went hood. God, she said the duffel bag boys. I listen. She said a lot of things that people are already doing. These people running for office, they're already doing that. But it's just that she just
she had to call it.
And got caught saying it, and it's pretty much over for her. And I've seen it happen to Paula Dean. I've seen it happen to all kinds of people. The first time I seen a black person get jammed up like that. But it's usually white people saying some nigga shit. Say the word nigga shit, this, nigga that, they get caught and bam. But I've never seen nobody black just really just go in. And she said duffel bag boys and
what was she freaking thinking? I was trying to figure that out too. I was like, you know,
she went hood. And Tim, you gotta understand, but she's saying, you know, this happening already.
Yeah, well, it happens all the time.
They get money from the mob, they get money from all these places, they get money from wherever, and it's happening. But it's just that I've never seen anybody, a black person, get jammed up like that. Like I said, we've seen it all. We've seen who else? The Papa John's pizza dude was saying the N-word.
Yep.
I'm refraining from. I'm stop saying the whole anything, but you're not gonna, you know. But I've seen other people out of races say the end stuff and then get jammed up and get cut off. But I ain't never seen nobody go there fed, whether they black, white, or whatever they were doing. She went straight fed. I'm talking about. She said that.
You
like
know,
she was on a roast or something. You know,
those conversations go on all the time. And
they do.
100%. She was stupid enough to call a prison phone line, which everybody knows is recorded anyhow. That's why the guy on the other end was just like,
he wasn't saying nothing, and he just baited her in.
And
why is she even calling him?
She wanted campaign money. She could
from somebody in the prison.
I mean, look how she could have called. Yeah, she could have called it the big lie. Isn't that what Trump did? Called it the big lie. You know, funding, and he got millions and millions.
Yeah, she could have. She was calling him and say, "Hey, bro, I need some of your commissary or something like that. Put some money in your books, whatever." But I'm like, why would you? He must have some connections outside the prison system with people in the prison. He must be somebody big.
Yeah, he's obviously somebody within the organization. But I mean, you look at it. A lot of these people, but they can. You know what I found was most recently interesting was the Family Research Council. Family Research Council is the one that anti-abortion, all this different stuff. Mm-hmm. The IRS gave them church status for their taxing. So now that makes it so they don't have to report taxes. They don't have to report contributions. They don't have to report who they're funneling their money to. So they will start looking at the Family Research Council as a church. How it's like a church, I don't know. But now you've got a lot of, let's say, right-wing conservative thinkers that can funnel millions
through their company,
into
through
that
that organization.
family to influence candidates or whatever they want with absolutely anonymity. It's all anonymous. Who gave you those millions of dollars? I don't have to tell you.
Right?
I'm like, wow. I mean, that's a lot of power to wield too. But then again, she could have went to that. She should have declared herself a church.
Yeah, or she should have just shut up.
She should have declared herself a church. I'm a church, so any money I get is none of your business or how I get it.
Yeah, and if you want to call somebody and try to solicit cash, and you're not Donald Trump, you sure don't want to call nobody locked up in prison, because those guys are the biggest snitches. They're really gonna tell on you.
They're gonna snitch on you if they can get a couple of months off their sentence.
Get some commissary mission, get some salmon with some crackers and get a spread. They're gonna tell on you. They will tell on you.
Yeah, it is sad that we got somebody like Krystle Walker, South Carolina, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I see the sister trying to do a thing, but kind of feel sorry for her because she's in a higher position, lower position than other people that are doing way more stupid stuff and getting away with it. And she did something as simple as talking too much to the wrong people and being vulgar for one thing, and then talking about they can just take that whole conversation, they can just break that down from piece to piece and straight up crucify her because of what she said. She just said everything wrong. Did she say the N-word too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's dropping it. She dropped the N-bomb, the F-bomb, every bomb that was available. She was dropping it.
What a duffel bag boy is that? I'm like, what? Come on, girl. Let me mention them. The game is to be sold, not to be told.
But some of this stuff that comes out, let's say that just like this stuff with January 6th, all this crap coming out that went on behind the closed doors. Same thing that happened here. It was behind closed doors and she got recorded. People should appreciate that media gets a hold of this, puts it out so that, I don't need a knucklehead like that. Yeah, she may be a person that's for the right cause. She may be the person that's getting things done, but she is obviously lacks a whole lot of common sense.
No, she doesn't. She hasn't said, in that whole conversation, she didn't say anything that's not being done. Anything wrong that's not being done now.
Now, I mean, by lacking common sense, Larry, why would she make that phone call to a prison? That's common sense tells you that's not a good idea.
Hey, even if it wasn't recorded, I guarantee you he still would have recorded it. Then he could have blackmailed her.
Now, what are you trying to accuse that prisoner of?
Huh?
What are you trying to accuse that man of?
I'm just saying, man. I'm like, he in jail. She's not. She has more power and opportunity to do more for him than he does for her. So at the end of the day, I was always told this. I don't talk to people below me. I don't gripe to people below me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I gripe to people above me. You don't gripe down, you gripe up. She griping down. You don't gripe down, you gripe up. And I told you don't check down, you check up. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I had a saying. I had about a little less than 200 people that would report through me. And when they would come into my office and if they had a issue and or a complaint, I say, really the complaints stop at the door. The issues stop at the door. As soon as you come across that threshold, come to me with a solution or idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to just have you sitting there pissing and moaning. I don't have time. I mean, I got too many things, too many people to give me an idea, give me a solution, and we'll talk.
Yeah, and it goes to show you that she's not a good leader. Because like I said, a leader would not go down to somebody under her and complain. You don't do that. A leader's supposed to stay, no matter what happens, they don't complain to people under them. They stay strong. So they look at them being strong through everything, and then they go up. And I said that wrong a while ago. You don't check up, you check down. Like if I'm in charge of you, You don't check me. You check somebody under you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't come to me and say, "Hey, what's up with you?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm in charge." Go ask him or her what's up with her or him. You don't check up. You check down.
That's
You
right.
don't gripe down. You gripe up. And then and that's part of being a leader. And she made a mad mistake, and that's one thing she's gonna learn. You don't tell them people that. You don't tell people under you all that crap, because they're looking up to you. You're the representative.
Yeah, but
you go to people over you.
And that does a lot of harm to she may be Democrat, Republican, I have no idea. But whatever particular party that she's affiliated with, that doesn't do good for that particular party.
No,
it doesn't show well for females, and it doesn't show well for black females.
It doesn't show well, black females, the people in her state, whether she's Republican, Democrat, it's just a bad call on her behalf. It shows a sign of weakness. I'm weak. We're weak. We need help. So we need help from people under us. Okay. Now, campaign contributions, the big money, big people, the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals and stuff like that, the insurance companies, they provide the Rifle Association, they provide the biggest fundings to get these people in office. That's what she should be griping to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gripe to nobody in prison. Because they got
unless you want the bag boys.
You don't need no bag boys in your team.
That's crazy.
She said the duffel bag boys. I'm
the
like,
duffel bag boys.
That's old school too. I'm like, come on, girl.
That's insane. That is.
And I'm thinking, how she even get up there to her position as representative? How she even make it that far with her way of thinking?
With that mentality?
Yeah, that mentality is totally wrong. Now, like I said, it's not wrong. She said some things, but that's going on now. It's just the way who she said it to, and her mentality with.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, it just makes it look bad.
Speaking of idiots, speaking of
idiots, like it, bro. I love my sister doing some things, but come on, sis.
Whew. Yeah,
it'll blow over.
You know what? Let's get to it. Let's get to something good. And as always, we have to have a little segment where somebody is just stupid enough to make or say something stupid enough to be our asshole of the week. This time, this time we have two.
I know she got to be one of them.
Let's watch this.
We in America have some of the cleanest air and cleanest water of anybody in the world. So what we do is we're going to put from the Green New Deal millions or billions of dollars cleaning our good air up. So all of a sudden China and India ain't putting nothing in there cleaning that situation up. So all that bad air is still there. But since we don't control the air, our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air gotta move. So it moves over to our good air space. And now we gotta clean that back up.
Tim, what the hell did he just say?
I got no.
Hold on, I'm almost on my character. Did he say the what? Herschel Walker. He's in politics?
He's the one that's running in Georgia.
Yeah. For what, to get some running for air?
No, I mean, he's running for a Senate seat in Georgia. He wants to be a senator. He wants to make laws.
Okay, he needs to call Miss Walker and talk to her, and then she need to just they need to just sit their ass down somewhere.
I could not believe that rambling BS. We said
that the people that agreed with him. They were like,
that China and India doesn't, they pollute their air, and then we're busy cleaning our air up and send it over there, and then they send us back dirty air. How's that fair?
Tim, we got so many issues we can deal with other than some dirty ass air.
Well, we got so many issues that we just gave two instances, okay, of individuals, one from South Carolina, one from Georgia, running for political offices that are going to lead the state and or the country, and that's the shit that comes out of their mouth.
Okay, the other people that we looked at, they had guns and shit.
Oh yeah. I know.
I really don't want Herschel helping me write laws. I'm like, because he worried about air. And the old girl, she talking about some duffel bag boys. we're going right back to what we're gonna be slaves in the next 10 years. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna be back in shackles and chains messing with these two individuals. We need some more Baracks. What the Baracks at? Where are Martin Luther King type guys at? Where are those type smart, intelligent?
What did they do besides give everybody health care and, come on now.
Big voting,
and voting rights. Come on now. What did they do that was so great?
I'll take it down Malcolm X. At least all the other senators got guns in their videos. He pulled out guns in this shit too. He knew how to control people. I'm like, come on, man. Where are those people at? We get these idiots. And I know it's a sister, Norris Herschel. And I probably shouldn't say it about them because there are Black people trying to do better for. I don't know who they're trying to do better for. They're trying to do better for themselves, I guess. But they're representing us in their positions in the wrong way. They're looking at the wrong stuff.
Don't you find it embarrassing?
Yeah, it's very embarrassing, man, because he's the heir. Tim.
I mean, I would find that, embarrassing and not trying to create it into a black-white issue, but that gives all these redneck people all the excuse. See what I'm talking about? Look at this.
And the only reason they even listen to Herschel because he's a football player. I'm like, that's the only reason they even.
It sure isn't because he's smart, obviously, if you listen to what he was talking. I mean, come on, man.
I want to hear more. I just want to hear how ignorant it's going to get. And if you're worried about some good air and bad air, I'm like, it's really going to get ignorant down the line. Can you imagine him in a debate? Herschel, so what happened to the air? Man, we still, the air didn't go through like
I find it totally embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It really is. And I mean, and especially, not in a whole lot of different ways, but people around the world looking at this too, and they're like, no wonder the U.S. is so fucked up.
But what I do, I just hate the fact that we do get Black representatives up there, and they don't focus on the real issues dealing with people. I mean, people, mental health, social issues, the division between Black and white, the racism, all that stuff,
you're right.
Equality, jobs, economy, stuff like that. Why don't you they don't want to get into that because they know that people are going to just shoo them away. You just activists. They don't want to be called activists. I'm like,
but you are. If you are Black, if you are Latino, if you are a woman, if you're LGBT, and you're in office, you're an activist. You represent your people because how you act reflects on anybody else that's associated in that manner, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's a woman, whatever.
You're an activist. But you represent our issues in America, Americans' issues, not your issues, because if it affects me, if you're a woman and it affects you, it's going to affect any other woman that's involved in that. The only way it's not going to affect you as a woman, you can't have any kids anymore. That's it. If you can have kids, or if you have been in jail because of certain things, it's going to affect somebody that's around you, whatever issues that are not being taken care of in America, it's going to affect you somehow, some way. And a lot of our Black people I've seen on here, I'm pretty sure there's some smart ones out there, but you usually don't hear from them, and they usually kind of get kicked to the wayside because they're considered activists.
You know what's interesting? Because what you're saying, if you even look into let's go to the Bible just for 30 seconds. Ephesians, Philippians, theologians, all of those are written to a church, right? But the reason it's included is because the parameters of the conversation included everybody. I'm sure that these disciples of Jesus wrote thousands upon letters of church, but they only put certain ones in because it affected everybody.
Yeah. It's supposed to.
They should, if you got all these religious organizations and, groups that sit there and say, wow, this is right, that is wrong. You should look at it the same way they constructed the book you're preaching out of. Does it affect everybody or just one select group?
It affects everybody. Any issue that we have in America affects everybody somehow, some way, whether it's economically, whether it's socially, psychologically, or physically.
But you don't want to target a group.
Yeah, it affects everybody. Where it comes from, the what do you call the community? The GB.
Oh, the LBGT.
LBGT. Yeah.
LBGT. Lesbians, bis, gays, transvestites. I don't know. Yeah, it's very broad.
All these issues affect everybody except for air. Pollution is like on the bottom end of everything, but it's big, but it still affects everybody. But But they never address those issues. Herschel Walker, he needs to shut the hell up.
You heard me.
Talk about some real stuff, for real.
Now let's get into another asshole award, because we mean to bring you the best. And we we all, besides Herschel Walker talking about air, we have people who took a constitutional oath to protect us, and well,
yeah, one guy. That's the school shooting. Am I right?
yes, in Uvalde.
All those guys, all that armor, all that thickness, all those bullets, all those guns, and they're running from one guy, kid with a gun, and they could have saved a lot of lives.
They had ballistic shields. They had ballistic vests. They had a rifle. They had. And they ran away.
Because they were scared and they were selfish.
And you take an oath of office when you're in law enforcement to serve, to protect, and to uphold the laws of that particular state that you're in service of.
No, they're trying to protect their lives.
And now they're pissed off because this footage gets released of them running away, and you know how that wasn't fair. It makes us look bad.
You do
really
look bad.
You do look bad, you bunch of wimps.
Listen, they look like cowards running away. All those kids got assassinated. That's what it was. The terroristic threat. The kids got assassinated. People got assassinated, and those cops were there and could have prevented a lot of that from happening.
They could have prevented a whole lot of death. Yep.
Yeah, they ran.
You don't sit there for because there was like there was like a 30-40 minute lag after they ran back down the hallway, and the guy's still in there shooting.
Yeah, and but I bet you better not run a red light. I bet you better not have your ID.
Yeah, I bet you better not be a black man in Akron, Ohio, with a taillight out.
Oh, you sure about now?
Better not be. We're gonna shoot you 38 times.
I'm like, come on, man, y'all messing with the wrong people. See, that's the stuff they need to be addressing. They need to start addressing this. If you ain't gonna get no real cops, you need to get some real military guys that's gonna really get in there and do their thing. Because former military guys are the best guys that you can deal with security or any kind of policing whatsoever. They're not afraid of nothing. I've never seen a former MP or anything afraid of anything. Marines especially, they run to it. They don't run from it. These guys are probably regular civilians. They better not have been officers. I mean, in the military. They had not been in the military and then did that crap. But these regular civilians, they probably got bullied when they were a kid, and then they had a situation where they could have saved some lives and they ran because they're big cowards. They pick on the police. A lot of police officers pick on the little guy. You get a gun, they run.
It makes me wonder about training, and through my years, we went through a lot of entry trainings, and we would go through these little manufactured homes, and they would have like shoot, don't shoot scenarios set up in various rooms, and they'd have lighting different. They may have just to create the environment so that when you walk into a situation like that, you're able to calm yourself down just a tad, because you're going to get hyped.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand where they're going to get hyped, but I mean, just like with the Akron incident, I don't understand how you got 6-8 cops, whatever there was, freaking unloading their clip and the person running away. I don't process that. I don't get it.
No, but these cops got the opportunity to do what they should have done: unload 60 clips in this dude because he's killing kids and teachers. What they do, they run.
They run, just the opposite of what they should have been doing. I find it very, very disappointing myself, Larry, and I am more than happy to let them know that I think they're assholes.
Assholes and cowards. And they love picking on the little guy. They had shields and all this. How you gonna have all that shit on and you gonna run? How about, come on, bro. They got on at least about $5,000 worth of the gear on and shields, and they're running.
I'll find it totally interesting when it all comes out what they do with those individuals. You know, the one guy that was grabbing hand sanitizer and cleaning his hands. One guy was on a cell phone. I mean, I understand now that his wife was actually at one of the classrooms, had been shot twice, and she was texting him.
You know, you can't really train mentality. You can't train fearlessness. And that's just putting on a uniform and a vest and having a gun doesn't make you fearless. It doesn't make you a hero. You know, heroes are made, they're not born. And they were in a situation where they could have been heroes, they have been made heroes, but they ran from the opportunity. Cowards, they didn't kiss my big black ass.
We was in a hostage situation one time. And one of the guys, this kind of came up to the side. It was in a gas station. Guy had a gun on the girl's head. He was getting ready to pop her. But in any regards, this guy, not fearing for his own life. I mean, he just had a regular vest on like we all have. And, you know, that was it. No shield, no nothing. Just walked up with his 870 and poof, in the story. But still, I mean, he had enough guts and enough nuts to go up and do something about it. I mean, who knows what would have happened if he wouldn't have capped this guy off. I mean, that woman, the hostage, could have been killed. You know, he could have gotten back on the highway, you know, and it was up and down one of the major interstates. Who knows what could have happened. So by that action, I'll call it heroism.
Yeah. He
saved a lot of problems.
Yeah. That's our country, man. We got a country full of people hiding behind statuses and hiding behind parties, hiding behind other people. And the real heroes and the real people doing all the groundwork are us, the blue collar people.
Mm-hmm.
Us that go to work every day and deal with the traffic and deal with hostile individuals on our jobs, whether you're a police, we got some good police officers out there too. Whether you deal with any kind of situation, but the middlemen and women that are dealing with all these crazy laws and all this negativity shot towards us, we're the real heroes. We're the ones that wake up every day knowing that we barely getting by, we barely making the gas prices high. We still going in every day giving 100%, and we don't hide behind anything.
There's individuals who recognize it.
Yeah,
it's the middle class, and I think we talked about that in a prior show. It's the middle class, the you and me, and these that make America live.
We stand on our principles, and we will support and back each other up when we have to. And we are the real heroes. We are the middle class. Whether you black, white, German, Asian, no matter what your ethnicity is, I can never say the word right, or nationality is, what you identify with or whatever. You could be the LGBTQ, whatever it is, you are the true heroes. You are the hero.
You're that.
You don't have to depend on police officers or Senate or House of Representatives. Depend on yourself. Keep being the man or woman you are, the person you are. If you're doing the right thing, keep doing the right thing. Keep moving forward. And at the end of the day, we will see the light and we will get our due. We will be respected and we will get what's coming to us. It's going to be nothing but love and happiness in the end. Guaranteed.
I believe that too, Larry. Anyhow, while we're right here and the camera's on you, my friend, we got to have our fitness tip of the week.
Yeah. My name is Larry Estelle from LRE Fitness. Check me out on YouTube, Estelle Junior Larry, LRE Fitness Solutions, and Twitter, Instagram, Estelle Junior Larry, LRE Fitness. You check me on both of those. Now, you can look now, I have my knee wrapped. All right? Listen, people, whether you're young or old, stretch. Stretch and listen to your body. I have a bad habit of overtraining. I have a bad habit of not listening to my body. And when I do that, this occurs. So now I'm not able to train anyone because I can't properly use my limbs and my joints like I should. So always listen to your body, stretch, and do not overtrain because you will be injured. And rest, stretch, don't overtrain. Listen to your body. When your body say, hey, chill out, chill out. No matter what your mind says, listen to your body. That's the tip I got for this week. Larry Estelle from LRE Fitness, Instagram, and YouTube. Estelle Junior Larry, LRE Fitness. We keep you moving. Then back to you, Tim.
There we go. Hey, we talked about a whole lot of different things, you know. What we try to communicate to you is listen to both sides. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has some facts. Everybody has some dirt. And you got to just siphon through it. Just like Larry said, eventually things are going to get better. It just seems like every time, life takes us through these waves, these 50-year waves, and it seems like, we've regressed way back to the 1960s again. But trust me and trust Larry when we tell you it will get better. We promise you. And in any event, with that being said, Larry, let's tell everybody until next week, we're out of here and we will holla. Peace, man.